Jai Shriman Narayan. Jai Shriman Narayan. Jai Shriman Narayan. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagadguru Sudarshan Acharya Ji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. And I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome all of you at the Sri Narayan Dham, physically here in Durban, South Africa. I welcome those of you that are watching this discourse on live feed, locally, nationally, and internationally. And I welcome in advance those of you that will be watching this discourse when it is posted on YouTube and the various groups from around the world. Yesterday, I shared a post from the teachings of Swami Jayar Chinsami. And the summary of this post was that in this universe there were only two brainless people. In short, Srila Vedavyas, the compiler of all Vedic knowledge, went to see a king. And he continued asking the king permission so that he could teach the king the Vedas. And the king conceded and told him that he has 5 minutes for him. 5 minutes to disclose the imports of the Vedas. And Srila Vedavyas said 5 minutes is too long. He only needed under 30 seconds. And he stated that in this entire universe, there were only 2 brainless humans. Only 2 brainless humans. One was born in Tretayug. His name was Ravana. And the other was born in Dwaparayug. His name was Duryodhan. Ravana represents desire and Duryodhan represents anger. So the entire Vedas contains only 2 aspects, desire and anger. So desire and then the king got interested. And he wanted to know about Ravana. So the entire Ramayan was revealed. And then he wanted to know about Duryodhan. And after 6 months, the entire Mahabharata was revealed. the Mahabharata plus the Ramayan is equal to anger plus desire. Anger plus desire is equal to the entire Vedas. And the entire Vedas is equal to the 4 Vedas, the Puranas, the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita. 2 qualities make up the entire Vedas. And the Upanishad states, in the beginning it thought, let me become many. In the beginning it thought, let me become many. Who is this it? Lord Narayan. Lord Narayan willed to become many. What was the fuel for his willing to become many? The anger and desire in the form of karma that belonged to all the living entities that were latent in him, in their subtle form. So all the living entities that was latent in the body of Lord Sriman Narayan in his subtle form impelled Lord Narayan to think, let me become many. And when he thought, it means he willed. And when he willed, this millions of universes came into existence. Into these millions of universes are deposited living entities as per their previous karma, and they are placed in each universe, in each country, in each family, in each society as per a perfect spreadsheet. Perfect spreadsheet that is meticulously eternal. The spreadsheet is eternal. It's always there. All your actions, inactions, and thoughts are recorded on the spreadsheet. And in perfect harmony, your soul is placed into a family of human, or a family of aquatics, or a family of beasts, or a family of birds, as per your own merit, which dictated the balancing of the spreadsheet. When you are in the latent position, in a subtle form, within the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you have no name and no form. Lord Narayan, through his willing, these universes become manifest. And then he enters every atom and every form. And after his entrance into every atom and every form, names and forms are created. So it is the entry of Lord Narayan into every soul and every atom through which name and form manifests itself. No Lord Narayan, no name, no form. The fuel for the manifestation of these material universes is desire and anger. What desire? Material desire. Material desire and anger is the fuel, is the building blocks of these material universes. Anger and desire, desire and anger, this combination belongs to the demonic mentality. These two conditions belong to the demonic mentality. Ravana desired Sita. It was a material desire, it was a lustful desire. Material desire, lustful desire belong to the demonic mentality. When this desire cannot be fulfilled, then desire modifies into anger. And through anger arises delusion. Delusion is a byproduct of anger. And in delusion, many relationships are wrenched asunder. Some can become repairable, others irreparable. So these are the simple truths, scientific truths. Lord Narayan is the absolute scientist. All material scientists that are trying to become scientists, that have tried to become scientists, and that are going to try to become scientists will always be relative scientists. In the Upanishads, all these sciences have already been revealed by the absolute scientist Lord Sriman Narayan. If you live in a country and you want to know who the president is, how would you find out? What bona fide system would you use to find out who the president is? From
his representative.
You will consult firstly the primary source, which is the constitution of the country. And from the constitution itself, you will derive knowledge as to who the current elected president is. In the material universe, the president keeps changing. In the spiritual universe, the one absolute president is Lord Sriman Narayan. And Lord Sriman Narayan can be found in the constitution of the Vedas. Specifically, if you want to know who the Supreme Lord is, then you must consult the Upanishads. And the Upanishads specifically state that Lord Sriman Narayan is the Supreme Lord. The Upanishads also specifically shows 108 Upanishads. There were some philosophers who read these Upanishads who within themselves had a sectarian belief of monism. What does monism mean? The soul and the Supreme Soul is one. That is called monism. Then there are others that believed in dualism or pluralism, meaning that the soul is different and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is different and the same at the same time. Then the Upanishads also teach through mediating verses that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has attributes, and His attributes are the individual souls and material nature. And an attribute means that the attribute cannot separate itself from the substantive, which means there is an inseparable relationship between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the individual soul. There is also an inseparable relationship between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and material nature. Material nature and the individual soul are totally different. And this is the mediating verses. So these sectarian philosophers did not take into equation the mediating verses, and this is why we have a philosophy of monism and a philosophy of dualism. However, the rule in the Upanishads is that not one sentence in the Upanishad must be neglected when you're reading the Upanishads. And this is why I have stated that Vedanta is Vishesh Advaita. Vedanta is Vishesh Advaita. For Vishesh Advaita synthesizes monism, pluralism, dualism, and it shows that both the individual soul and material nature is an attribute of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but both these entities are different and separate and eternally linked to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So you cannot separate material nature from God. You cannot separate God from material nature. You cannot separate the individual soul from God. You cannot separate God from the individual soul. They are eternally linked, and this is called Vishesh Advaita. And this is the absolute philosophy of Vedanta. If there is any system that is following monism, then that system is to be rejected. If there is a system that's following exclusively pluralism or dualism, then that system should be rejected. For the Vedas state that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the individual soul, and material nature are eternally linked but not one. They are separate entities. Now we will go into, before I go into the readings of the Bhagavad Gita, I want to discuss a salient point that sometimes causes disturbances in organizations. So I'm going to bring in and give a reading from the Mahabharata itself. And this has to do with donations and charity. And this answer is given by the compiler of the Vedas himself. So I'm just going to read the Mahabharata very fast. This is from the Vana Parva. Vana Parva of the Mahabharata. And in a nutshell, I'm going to read quickly a summary. One day, Vyasadeva came to visit the Pandavas at Kamiyak Kavana. After being greatly honored by them and comfortably seated, Vyasadeva began speaking to his grandsons with tears in his eyes, for he felt great compassion for them. Vyasa said, "My dear sons of Pandu, you should know that happiness and distress are concomitant factors in this material world." What is the meaning of concomitant? Ashwarya, go into your dictionary. While she is looking for the word concomitant, I'll continue. Because of this, a wise person expects both conditions and not simply happiness. You have performed great austerities in the forest, and so you should be confident that these penances have purified your existence and will lead you to future happiness. One who lives virtuously throughout his entire life will certainly be born with a righteous inclination in a prosperous family in his next life. And I want you all to underline this last sentence with red ink. Everyone underline as I read. One who lives virtuously throughout his entire life will certainly be born with a righteous inclination in a prosperous family in his next life. Aishwarya, are you still looking?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll go to the next paragraph. Maharaja Yudhishthira inquired, "My dear grandfather, which is more effective and more difficult to execute? Charity or austerity?" You're listening to the question. Maharaja Yudhishthira inquired, "My dear grandfather." Who's his grandfather? Vedavyas. Who is Vedavyas? The compiler of the Vedas. Vyasadeva replied, "There is nothing more difficult in this world than to become genuinely charitable. Men have such a strong desire to attain wealth that they are willing to work hard day and night to obtain it. Indeed, it is practically seen that while striving for wealth, people sometimes risk their lives. Because of the strong attachment to wealth, it is very difficult for a man to cheerfully part with his hard-earned money by giving it in charity. Still, it is a fact, if one gives his honestly earned wealth to a proper recipient, no matter how small the amount may be, that gift will award him great gain in the next life." So I have found what it means?
Naturally accompanying or associated. She loved travel with all its concomitant worries. Synonyms: attendant, accompanying, associated, collateral, related, connected.
Okay, we're looking at associated. So happiness and distress are associated with each other. There will always be happiness and there will always be misery. So a wise man, knowing that both exist in association, should not be happy in happiness, neither should he be sad in sadness, because he should know that these factors exist. And he must step away from these two factors and let happiness be without getting attached to happiness. If you do not get attached to happiness, what happens when sadness arises? You'll swim past it. Why? Because you're not attached to its opposite. You're not attached to its opposite. So these are Vedic injunctions. The second part of Vedavyas' advice is that greater than doing austerities and penances is giving charity that is honestly earned. Because as you earn your money, you get very, very attached to it. My money, my hard sweat. You think I'll give it to that Acharya in Sri Narayan? Dham, when I worked so hard for it. Now let's see the offside of this. If you do austerities and penances, we know who did austerities and penances, and we know who gave in charity. How do we know this? Because your result is this birth. Your result, whether you did austerities and penances in the last birth, or whether you gave in charity in your last birth, is this birth. Because if you did austerities and penances in your last birth, then guaranteed you would have been born in a prosperous family, performing righteousness. If you know where you are born and what conduct you are performing, each one of you know that. Yeah, physically, those that are listening and those that will be listening in the future. It is harder to part with your 10 rand dana that you worked at your truck shop than come and sweep this ashram. If you swept ashram in your last life, this life you would have been a prosperous man with divine and prosperous children. So the dynamics are all there. This is an absolute science. You can see for yourself who you are. As we see in the Bhagavad Gita itself, Duryodhan is a Rakshas because a Rakshas displays desire and anger and hatred and enmity. Alright? And you can see Arjuna, when he looked at people that were to kill him, he broke down in compassion. His own killers, people that stole from him, people that stole from his family, people that shamed his wife, that tried to strip his wife naked in an assembly, he felt compassion for them. How many in this world can we find who have real compassion? What was the last verse
1.
30. Next verse is 31. Last verse? Am I right?
31.
Last verse is 31. Next verse is 32. Okay, we'll do 31. I see, Krishna, inauspicious omens. I foresee no good in killing my kinsmen in fight. Verse 32. I desire no victory, no empire, no pleasures. What have we to do with empire, O Krishna, or enjoyment, or even life? Those for whose sake we do desire empire, enjoyment and pleasures stand here in war, renouncing life and world. Verse 34. Teachers, fathers, sons, and also grandfathers, uncles, fathers-in-law and grandsons, brothers-in-law and other kinsmen. These I would not slay, though they might slay me. Even for the sovereignty of the three worlds, how much less for this earth, O Krishna? If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, what joy will be ours, O Krishna? Sin alone will accrue to us if we kill these murderous felons. Verse 37. Therefore it is not befitting that we slay our own kin, the sons of Dhritarashtra, for if we kill our kinsmen, O Krishna, how indeed can we be happy? Though, verse 38, though these people whose minds are overpowered by greed see no evil in the destruction of a clan and no sin in treachery to friends. And I want to discuss this verse 38. Though these people whose minds are overpowered by greed see no evil in the destruction of a clan and no sin in treachery to friends. And we experience this 24/7. These unrighteous humans with demonic mentality, they see no wrong in their utterances. They see no wrong in their behavior. They see absolutely no wrong in actions that they take. And also, they do not see the collateral damage. The collateral damage that they cause in their lives and in lives of others because of greed. Greed is a cousin of desire and anger. Greed is a cousin of desire and anger. And if you do a DNA testing, you'll see they are first cousins, not 45th. Tibeshni, first cousins. Have you a first cousin in satsang today? You have a cousin in satsang today?
Yes,
First cousin or 45th cousin?
First cousin.
Okay. I'm very afraid for you, Bahai, to be a first cousin of Tibeshni. You are strong, you are very, very strong. You are absolutely strong. You just don't know it. To be Tibeshni's first cousin. God, oh God, oh God. Okay. So look, here's a war. This war really happened. Duryodhan really lived 5,000 years ago. This behavior, this demonic mindset nearly destroyed this planet Earth. For there were many nuclear missiles that were used in this war. Okay? And this was an epic war where the Devis and Devtas came down and fought. And they fought with great missiles. And these missiles could annihilate this planet. Look, just two qualities, desire and anger. It could destroy an entire planet. Desire and anger can destroy an entire planet. What is your life and my life? What is your life and my life? What destruction, what destructive powers these two qualities have. And it is also the impulsion for the creation of this material universe. No desire, no anger, no material universe, only Vaikuntha. And it is a duty of everyone that's listening to this discourse in all its platforms, whether you are here physically or whether you're listening. If you do not neutralize your desire and your anger, you're going to bring misery to yourself and those that are around you. And it is only you to blame. If you do not remove these two qualities or neutralize them, it is only you to blame. There is always collateral damage. And this is why he is talking about a clan. Clan is family traditions. Family tradition. And when men are killed, what happens to the family traditions? It is destroyed. And this is physical killing. Also, there is a subtle Kurukshetra in your mind. And if you don't bring this subtle Kurukshetra in your mind, under control, then you will be killing family traditions in a subtle manner. In a subtle manner. You'll be destroying your own family. So this desire, this anger, whose cousins, Tibesni, greed and hatred, envy, these are all first cousins. And all these first cousins have to be, Tibesni, destroyed. Please do not destroy your cousin. He came for holiday. I'm talking about anger, hatred, envy, greed, desire. These first cousins have to be destroyed, or else they'll destroy you and your family. It is verse 38 of the Bhagavad Gita. I think we've stated enough for today. I hope Mataji has been writing discourses for 6 years now. Mataji has been writing discourses for 6 years. Because it was difficult for her at first. She also had bits and pieces of all these vices. She was also angry. She also had desires, like all other humans. And then one day she saw her husband becomes a guru. And it was difficult for her to synthesize her mind with the fact that her husband is a guru. And that last stages of her evolution to her current status, Vasan joined our organization. And he saw some parts. So the Guru had to show Mataji that she must cut out the husband part, because the husband is now a Guru. So the Guru slept. One meter above his bed whole night. And when Mataji got up, she saw her husband now sleeping on the air, and realized that I must forget the husband part fully now and take the Guru part. And take the Guru part. So just like that, we perform miracles in your life so that you respect the position of a Guru, and like Mataji, start following the Guru with purity. Start following the Guru with purity. We showed you some things. For Mataji to really see, she had to see her former husband sleeping on a air mattress. Air blow, not head blow. Okay? And she only told the Guru after a long, long time. She never told the Guru next morning, hey, you were sleeping on the air. Alright? Stani, please embrace these small miracles that God performs through the Guru. It was Lord Narayan holding me whilst I was sleeping. His hand was the only thing. Mataji don't have the eyes to see Lord Narayan's hand. She just saw her husband sleeping on air. Okay? We're a small satsang, and I want to remain this size so I can give you quality. But you also have to be a quality participant from your side so that what I give you can flow from, like oil from one vessel to the next vessel. You also oil being poured from one vessel to the next vessel. There is no air bubbles in oil. It is a genuine flow. Devasni? Can you imagine oil from one vessel to the next vessel? That's how the Guru wants to grace you. But you must be a recipient with the pail not upside down. Your bucket of your mind must be right side up. That means the bottom of the bucket must be in the bottom of your head. Devasni? If you take the bucket and put it upside down, then all the Guru's oil will flow over your head, not inside your head. All saints have a past, and all sinners have a Jai Shriman.